This was not a path I ever created. In 100 years was I ever involved in or interested in politics. I was interested in small business. I was interested in large business and how you create success in both of those environments.
Well, hello and welcome back to The Few Podcast. I'm Robert Shine with Madison Evans. Hi, Madison.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good. Today is an exciting episode. It's season 3, as everyone knows. I've been tuning in, and a super special guest, the mayor of Indio, Elaine Holmes. And it's going to be just a dynamo, as she is, but it's going to be very insightful as well. See all the exciting things happening in Indio. She's going to fill us in.
Yes, we're very excited to have her on, and let's jump right into it and welcome Elaine onto the podcast.
Well, Elaine, welcome, Miss Mayor.
Thank you so much. I love being here. I love being able to talk to people and share experiences.
This is going to be fun today. I'm truly excited to have you. You know this, but this is for our audience. Indio is the largest city in the Coachella Valley, but it's also the fastest growing, right?
Yes.
And you guys last year had over 1.4 million visitors and new home developments over 3,600.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There was also Wallet Hub named Indio top 500 fastest growing economies in the United States.
And we're in the top 10 of best places to live. In California, we're in the top 10. In the United States, 24 of best small communities to live. So that's very, very exciting. We're also on the list for festivals and engagement with the community as well. And then our golf course. And it's just a little well-known fact. What people know as municipal, it's now called the Lights at Indio Golf Course. We're the most wonderful small golf course, par 3, completely lighted, using all the technology. It's just a beautiful course.
I'm about to check it out.
It's wonderful. And it's just super well maintained. We're just building a brand new clubhouse and amenities there.
Okay.
And so that you can enjoy it. And you have a beautiful golf course in the hills in the background. But the beauty of that is that it allows people to play till 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So you have dinner.
And that's the advantage in summer too.
That's it. Have dinner, go play a round of golf, 18 holes there, and enjoy. I mean, that's something that you can enjoy and do things, because in the desert in general, so many things close earlier in the day, and people want to be out and they want to do things, at least 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And this is an opportunity to do that.
Well, it's so much more than just the festivals, which is huge.
Yes.
The overall Coachella Valley and the economy itself, as well as golf courses, but the amount of just explosion of growth and the attention to detail from not only you, but your team and staff and everything that you guys have been able to accomplish. But it hasn't always been an easy road, but you've been there since what, 2010?
2010, yes.
Okay.
Well, I really absolutely need to tell you, everyone, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens with a great team. Yeah. And so we've had a great council. And we have extraordinary staff, because the staff has to take the mission and the initiatives from the council and make it happen. And the staff is making it happen. And in being at the east end of the valley, there was property. We have a lot of land and a lot of rooftops that can be built, different types of housing, lots of families, lots of culture. And it just begged for the opportunity for different kinds of festivals and fun, and bringing the city together and really exploring small business community, therefore how we can serve our residents.
It's fun to go to Indio because there's so many restaurants and so much nightlife now, and there's so much to explore that just didn't happen even 10 years ago.
And the beauty of that is that most of them are small businesses. So when you walk in the door, people care about you. There's just wonderful. Downtown happens to be near and dear to my heart, but every part of that city is wonderful. The Canopy. How about Shields? They've been around a long, long time.
Oh, yeah, you got to get your
date shake. That is fabulous. You can do line dancing at Jackalope. You can cruise around downtown, and tap room is great. Enjoy an outdoor Gabinos. There's great music, particularly for the younger crowd of local bands. And the really wonderful thing about Indio is that we have something called Center Stage. So this is something the council has talked about for years. How do we bring families? How do we bring people and music downtown? Because that's what culture is all about, right? I grew up Italian. And you gather everybody around food and
100%.
music.
Yeah.
And so here we have this culture in our community. So we have the Asada Fest. We have the barbecue festival. Of course, we have the Tamale
love the barbecue festival.
I know, it's fun.
Yeah.
And second Saturdays, we have music. And that will expand in time. We have music. We have everything from Tejano music for people 50 and older, like the Dreamboats, which are absolutely awesome. We have contemporary music. We have a different genre every month. to really appeal. But it's really the fact that we pulled people together with festivals. Again, food, family, and fun. And you see 3 and 4 generations. And I think that is success. There's nothing better than seeing grandmas dancing with their grandkids.
That's it.
It's
Family,
fantastic.
food, and fun.
Yes.
So you brought up Italian and family, and I'm Italian and
I am too.
and family and from back east as well. Tell us a little bit about your growing up, your family. Where'd you grow up? And tell us about a little bit about Elaine.
You know what? My family really was the inspiration, I think, and the driving force behind all of that. My mom and dad were first generation. Parents came from southern Italy, immigrated here, and really worked hard, right? When you're an immigrant, you work very, very hard and you establish your own business. My father took over a business that serviced the garment district in downtown LA, which is to say he manufactured boilers. It's a steam industry, which is maybe not very glamorous, but it's what you need if you're a dry cleaner, if you're making clothes in the garment industry and other industries like that.
Vital, yeah.
It is absolutely vital. And it's something he always said. He says, you know what, Elaine, even though sometimes I'm on roof overseeing things and the installation, he says, remember 2 things, customer service and first impressions. He says, I always wear a white shirt and I always wear pressed pants, no matter if I'm climbing a ladder or meeting a customer. And that stuck with me. And of course, I grew up Saturdays there. And on the other side of it, I mean, my whole family, I get similar to the culture that we have here, food. Italian deli. My mom owned an Italian deli. My cousins owned an Italian deli. So I grew up in that. I worked there. You went to church. You went and you met other families there. So it instilled a work ethic, a family ethic. And you know, if you're Italian, you dance.
Oh, yeah.
You dance. You have
Me
to
not
have,
so much. Not very good. But
yeah, well, yeah, the quality is a different story.
The quality is a different story.
But it's always around fun.
Yeah.
It's always around dancing. It's always around music. And here, eat, manja. You have to eat.
Yeah.
And I see the same thing in different ways here in this community. And I think that was really instinctually what I wanted to achieve, because I saw that's what people wanted in this community. So a really rich background. I have an older sister as well that is just all a part of tradition, and combining tradition and progress, I think gives you the best of both worlds, because it brings in, you know, the older part of the family and it embraces the youth.
Yeah.
And the 2 of them have to connect.
True.
In order to keep that tradition and that energy going, I think.
That's awesome. And you can definitely see that energy that you have just spill out over into the community that you love so much. And you're a champion of small businesses. And we'll get to that. But before you were a small business owner, tell me about, you were in the corporate world?
I was. And that was, you know, I could have taken over, and I talked to my mom about taking over the delicatessen that she had in her catering business. And she said, no, you need to expand and explore into corporate America. So go out and get a job in the world. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to be a small business, then you can do that.
And they emphasized education, so college.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Education.
That's what,
college.
you know, I'm first generation here. And that's what my dad said when he came over here to my brother and I. Is like, hey, listen, 2 things we came over and we sacrificed everything for. 1 was education, and 2 is the opportunity.
Yes.
And we're going to provide you the education, but it's for you to basically, you and your brother, to explore the opportunity that America has.
And make something of it.
Make something.
And I see that. And the interesting part about the desert, and particularly the east part of the desert, is access to education is difficult. And so there's some just amazing organizations here in the desert that really reach out and help these students write the scholarships. Kudos to the counselors in the schools and to some of the folks here that really do a great job of reaching out and helping them understand what it takes and to put together the scholarships and to allow people to have dreams. In the east end of the valley, what I've noticed is that you grow up there, but you don't ever leave. And so therefore you don't have the ability to create the dream. What is the dream? And without major corporations here in the desert, because early on, years and years ago, right, it was a retirement.
Oh, yeah.
And so there isn't major, there's a lot of hospitality.
True.
And so, you know, you grow up, you go to high school, it's like, I don't need a college education. By the way, where do I get it? I have to leave. My parents can't afford it. And I'm going to work in the hospitality in some form or fashion. Anyway, so all of that is great. But there are some that have a different dream and a different vision. And I think allowing them to explore that. And so getting back to my background, I started really working in human resources. I enjoyed people management, supervision. And so I was certified in several executive management courses so that I could teach at the corporate level. I ended up moving into one of the world's largest engineering and construction firms internationally, Fluor Corporation.
Sure.
built just everything, the refineries, the power plants, the plastics plants, huge facilities locally. And, the nuclear power plants as well were serviced around the country
Yes,
and around the
that's
world.
true. Yeah.
And the second you express the desire to learn and expand, then you were tapped. I just had an opportunity in a marketing associate role to experience all the different business units, as they call all the different businesses that they serve.
Yeah.
And understand the role of international project management. I had some amazing mentors, few women in a military male oriented. So that created its challenge. Life is what it is, but you learn a lot about life and you learn a lot about people and you learn how to navigate. And amazing experience. I got to work around the country, Canada and around the world. Opened up a telecommunications division in Philippines and in Thailand as well.
Is that right?
So that was really fantastic. And then from there, I was tagged by the president of the International Division of Sprint. And my first job was at Sprint was in Geneva at a conference. And so that just kept rolling. Again, it was business development, but it was international business development. So it really spoke to all different levels of really what drives me, which is creating business, allowing businesses to prosper and succeed in the different tools that you need and the people that you need to make that happen. So it's been fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
And so you're in the corporate world, and then what brought you to the Coachella Valley?
My family always had homes here, so this was like a second home. But as my parents aged, they moved down here from the Bay Area, and my sister and I became the caretakers essentially for my mom and dad. You kind of feel like that's the least you can do for the richness of how we all grew up.
Yeah.
And so in that process, I commuted for a while, as did my husband. And my husband had just come off an 18-month assignment in Alaska working on a job. He also worked at Fluor at the time. It was a confidential project, so I can't. But it was really exciting. We came here, so well, what do we do? All the details, but top secret. And so we saw this little town, and it was like the little engine that could. I'm a V8 kind of gal, right? There's no cruising in my world. And I said, how do we inject some energy into this? What's wrong? What happened? Because it used to be a really vibrant small town. And before you know it, my sister, after her retirement, helped at the Indio Chamber of Commerce, said, hey, Elaine, you got to come and check this out. There's a trophy store that has been closed for about a year due to the untimely deaths of the owners. And she said, it's just, there's so much potential here. And I was a little reluctant, corporate America trophy store, but I'm like, let's dive in. You can make anything successful.
Yeah.
And, and you look at the city and you look at banks and hotels. And at that point there was, I think it was Charter Communications. Well, they all do things. They all do plaques. They all do awards. They all do crystal awards. They all do promotional products, canvas bags, pins, pens, everything else. Right. And I said, I can sell. Because business development was really where I spent the last 7-8 years of my career. So let's do it. Let's just jump in. So we bought this little business. We ended up moving a couple of times in through Indio until we could find our niche. It's like, okay, we want to make this special for the people here in the downtown. And alongside that desire, I had a lot to learn. And Indio and its community taught me a lot about the importance of people, of family, of people that went to school and worked with other people, or just really had that sense of community and helping each other. This little community was so focused on helping each other succeed that unfortunately some of the larger opportunities and progress passed them by for other parts of the desert because they wanted to stay small, they wanted to stay intimate, they wanted to know. It's kind of like that Cheers where everybody knows your name. And that's hard to sustain a successful community in that manner all the time. And so things deteriorated in the city of Indio, and it was just so easy to see the potential. And the potential came from the people. I met some of the most wonderful, big-hearted, hard-working people in the city of Indio that I had ever met in my life. And they really captured my heart and created that vision for my husband and I both to jump in and say, all right, let's take this trophy store. Let's make it something. It's more than just trophies. It's celebrating success. It's about people. And so parlaying that, and little by little, as I became a part of the small business community and earned trust, I had to earn the trust of the community. Then I was able to understand some of the challenges. And as I understood some of the challenges of the small business community, there were a few things that were glaring. And that is, there was sort of a disconnect between the small business community and the city, who had their roles. And there's a lot of, things that city government and every form of government has to follow. And small business people don't understand that. So how do we help them, and how do we help them understand, and how do we create that bridge with the city who wanted business and wanted a successful community? We needed a bridge that says, all right, here's why we have these requirements. It's for your safety. And you work with a small business and say, heads up, this is what you need to look for. It just kept evolving. I was involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I was on their board of directors as well until I ran for city council in 2010 and won. So that's sort of.
So you saw the big opportunity, you saw the gap that needed to be closed, and you saw the vision.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, definitely.
That's incredible.
Whenever you get to work with a community, I think it's the people create that vision, and then you just have to work to execute.
Well, you're definitely a people person, and I love what you said, which is you're a V8 type of gal, right? You're not going to be cruising, and so anything you do, you're gonna give it 110%.
That's right.
And I think what's amazing about you, it's great for you to share your story with us, is success follows you. It's not by accident. It's by rolling up your sleeves, listening to the community, understanding the problem, seeing the bigger vision,
Right.
and actually working together to get things done and making progress happen. And we've seen some great things, what you and the council have done, and the whole greater of Indio. And it's just absolutely incredible.
It's exciting. And I think really the message is, this was not a path I ever created. In 100 years was I ever involved in or interested in politics. I was interested in small business. I was interested in large business and how you create success in both of those environments. And for anyone out there, it's a function of, like you said, rolling up your shirt sleeves, understanding the community, whether the community is corporate America or it's small town America, understanding the impact that they have and the ways that you can work with others to achieve various levels of success and create that direction.
You mentioned coming from a corporate, male-dominated workforce.
Yes.
And then when you transitioned to the council, how was it at the time? Was it similar in nature, and how did you navigate through that?
I think in any situation, what you need to do is understand the playing field and work with people that can champion you, that understand the overall role and understand the vision and want to work with you to achieve that vision. And I think that's what you keep your eye on the ball all the time in order to reach success. There's going to be obstacles of some form or fashion, no matter what you do in corporate America, in small business, in politics. And so you got to go back into the huddle, really, honestly, and work with the people that are part of your team. And you've got to create that team. You have to foster, and you have to work sometimes super hard to foster those relationships. But you do that, and it takes time. And I would always say, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. It's okay to get discouraged just as long as you wake up, you get up the next morning ready to go again. But you need to have your team and your group of people and friends and family that you can talk to and that become your champions in the business world.
That's fantastic. This episode is brought to you by Blanky Shine Wealth Management, serving the Coachella Valley for the first 40 years and built for the next 40 years. And for more information about Blanky Shine, it's blankyshinewealthmanagement.com. So let's talk about some of the successes that you've had over the years with the city.
They come from so many different directions. It was the building of a new hotel in our community, the Holiday Inn Express, right off the freeway. So many pieces there that started that process. It's the small businesses that came up in the downtown. It's being part of the vision and the plan throughout the community to take the small business and help them be successful, help them work with the city. You want to call it a one-stop shop. The city, any city, can be a little bit daunting. You got to go here for a permit, and you got to go here for your plans, and you have to go to several different steps. So we all said, all right, where are the challenges? Because if you talk to your business community, they'll say, gosh, this was so difficult because we had to go to so many different places, and we didn't even know how to do that. Well, you create an environment, and one-stop shop was just a term that we used, where you went to one or two people that said, here's what you need to do.
Okay.
Yes, you're getting your business license, and then here are the rest of the steps. And it was something that we did verbally until eventually it became an actual process. You have to make process. I know that sounds boring, but you have to make
it's absolutely true.
processes because as you go through employees and people and council and businesses, there has to be that level of consistency. So I think that was really the first thing that we did. And that really helped the business community. I mean, when I look at some of the things that have happened off the freeway there on 42, as some of those businesses popped up, it was very, very exciting. I remember Walmart, big box. People have issues with big box, but let me tell you, it employs a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And at different levels. And we want large employers because those also can feed the small businesses that come up around them because they have the draw. Right? So how exciting is that? And then you look at one of our top in California, by the way, producing areas, and that's on the corner of Jackson and 42, where on one side you have the Home Depot Plaza there, and you have the steakhouse, and you have Ulta, Tilly's. I'm just kind of going through. Now we have a Boot Barn, Winco.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss anybody, but that is one of the top producing malls, for lack of a better description, in California.
That's awesome.
And Red Mountain Group is manages that property now. And it's fantastic because people know that you can come to Indio and shop. And I will tell you what started this. You go back to the concept of when people come into a community, what do they look for? What do they see? Clean and safe.
Yeah.
Right? So
True.
You got to create the safety. And before you can bring businesses, it has to look nice. And that there's money involved with that. And we thank our residents as every opportunity we can, a 1% sales tax that they passed. And that was for our roads. Our roads 15, 20 years ago were horrible.
It's night and day.
It's just amazing. So we are on a mission. And so we use those dollars, 9, 12, 14 million over the years it's grown for our roads. Our roads, we want to be not the most beautiful roads in Coachella Valley, but really anywhere, because that creates a vision, right?
Yeah.
The second you cross Jefferson in the old days, right, and the roads became rocky and
well, it just means that the city and the leadership is paying attention.
That's right.
Right? And they're giving back and they're doing what's important.
Right. You create that and then you work with programs with the police department, things like a quality of life team, and you put together not just officers, but things that can support officers and support the community and deal with some of the issues that every city has, that one-on-one. And then you find a way to keep everything clean and shiny. And now we have a program called Indio Lindo, and that's Indio Beautiful. And so in addition to what the city does, and we have people that make sure that things are cleaned every single day, but there's also a community. We bring the community together to target neighborhoods, to pick up trash. There are people that just can't get stuff to Burtech or whatever. How do we help them clean generations? One of the things that we've done at the city is every time you see a wall, right, everybody has communities behind walls. Every single one of those walls in the city of Indio is painted white. Now, that is huge, right?
Wow.
It's shiny, it's white, it's clean, it's bright.
Yeah, beautiful.
And so having the council and pulling the council together to agree on putting that 1% sales tax on the ballot was huge. And so that gave us the income to do more things. We were slowly but surely buying property up in different areas so that we could fix them up and manage businesses and provide an opportunity. If you have 2,000 or 3,000 square feet of a building, it's hard for small businesses to move into that. It's expensive. So the city could offer incentives and opportunities there. And we wanted to add fun. So we have what started, again, more than 20 years ago, a really cool mural program. And at that time, it really depicted the history, the history of water, the history of Indio, the transportation. What about the train depot? There's so much history. The Coachella Valley History Museum. I have one of my best friends that will kill me if I don't mention it. But the reality is that Coachella Valley History Museum in Indio really represents growth. In our utilities, in our power, in our water, how it came to be, in farming and agriculture. That's what we were.
Yeah.
Farming and agriculture, date grows. And so it's evolved a lot since then. But keeping that history is important as you move forward, because that's our DNA. That was exciting to put all those things together and to be able then to offer developers incentives. And it starts with rooftops. It starts with a clean and safe city, and then they want to come because they're going to have the opportunity of large housing tracts that can then support your Home Depots and your Wincos and your Boot Barns and all the demographics that we have there. And then it just grows. And so as you get sales tax, then it grows and grows. And look at our auto dealers. When I came here, we had Honda and Toyota and Ford. and they've been here for a very, very long time. Well, the Thiel family opened up Kia, and Honda has a Honda Superstore of used cars, right? They're rolling with it.
Yeah.
Toyota just opened a used car, essentially superstore, and there will be additional auto dealers, right? So they are a tremendous tax base. And the city then tries to work with them. We worked with them in terms of the frontage and how we can make the frontage more accessible. And now we're going to create a visual median, right? Because it's along the freeway, which is an optimal location, but you have to add some visual beauty there. So we're working with them to put some plants in there that create beauty but that doesn't block the view. So one thing begets another, but you had to start. And that 1% sales tax just made all the difference in the world, along with the will of the council and the processes that the city provided.
I know you're very busy. We have to get you going. You have a lot of planning to do. We have a festival season.
Yes.
That's one of the most exciting times of the year in the Coachella Valley here. So let's just talk about sort of the vision for the future for the next generation. What do you see and what do you hope for?
Well, let me just mention really quick the festivals. I mean, their benefit across the entire valley is enormous. In hotels, and bringing some of the most wonderful people and cultures from every
around
corner of the world.
Yeah.
And you go to the festivals and you meet, everybody's so polite. Honestly, everybody's polite.
Oh, they're so happy.
Everybody wants to be there.
Yeah,
they're so happy.
It's a lot of fun.
And they spill over, right? Because they want to check out the communities from West Valley to East Valley, and they want to see what's going on. And some people stop and say, hey, I want to make this a vacation home, or I want to make an investment in a business. And over the years, that
happens every single year.
It does. It does. Yeah. It's so exciting. And what's really cool is also the young vibe. You know, the key to Indio's success is its authenticity and reaching back and maintaining the history and the culture, because without that, that's what gives Indio its personality.
Yeah.
But what adds excitement and a nod towards progress is our future. And our future is in our youth, our younger generation, in its music and its processes and how they do business. You know, some of the businesses we have, they're so creative. You know, you have periods and down periods. And so I'm going to illustrate one of many wonderful businesses. Gabino's, they started out in Palm Springs, actually, but he's a native Indio, and he opened up savory crepes that are to die for. But there are periods when it's quiet and slow. So the first thing he did is he bought in a local food truck, right? And that serves burgers, Papa Heads. And so when Gabino's, who closes at 3, closes, then Papa Heads is there to grab some of the most amazing burgers. And now, I don't know if anybody, literally just today was announced that they're going to bring in ice cream.
Oh,
so it's that creativity and that energy. And the beauty of that, I mean, there are others. I'm thinking Everbloom Coffee, of course, Tap House, of course, Dune Room, just all the different places. They give back to the community in so many ways. They'll do a 5K run to support something or someone. So there's that constant circle of business and supporting the community and creating those relationships. So, you know what, let me just close with Indio is taking center stage in the community and the culture and in making things happen in our end of the valley, in Indio and beyond.
Fantastic. Madison, that was such an exciting interview. She is a visionary. Mm-hmm. She's pulled Indio into the future and beyond. She sees a lot of bright young leaders, even beyond what she's been able to contribute. But her vision, her love and passion for small business owners, her entrepreneurship background, her corporate background have really invigorated what we see today of Indio. And there's so many places that we all have to go explore right now. She was very, very insightful.
Definitely. I'm excited for our listeners to hear this episode, and I think that they're going to learn a lot from her. And as we end every episode, we have a couple quotes. The first is by Coretta Scott King. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. And our second quote is by Franklin D. Roosevelt. We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world beyond the horizon. Thank you all for tuning in, and be sure to look out for our next episode. Subscribe and like the episode.
This podcast is brought to you by David Field Producer. It is produced and directed by David Field and Kristen George. And it's mix, edit, and socials by Kristen George and Sam Aguirre.
Blanky Shine Wealth Management is a group of investment professionals registered with Hightower Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and with Hightower Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Securities are offered through Hightower Securities, LLC. Advisory services are offered through Hightower Advisors, LLC. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities. No investment process is free of risk, and there is no guarantee that the investment process or the investment opportunities referenced herein will be profitable. Past performance is not indicative of current or future performance and is not a guarantee. The investment opportunities referenced herein may not be suitable for all investors. All data and information referenced herein are from sources believed to be reliable. Any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information contained in this research is provided as general market commentary. It does not constitute investment advice. Blanky Shine Wealth Management and Hightower shall not in any way be liable for claims and make no expressed or implied representations or warranties as to the accuracy or completeness of the data and other information, or for statements or errors contained in or omissions from the obtained data and information referenced herein. The data and information are provided as of the date referenced. Such data and information are subject to change without notice. This document was created for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are solely those of Blanky Shine Wealth Management and do not represent those of Hightower Advisors, LLC, or any of its affiliates.